beautiful. Remember to choke up on it, talk to it like you're eating ice cream. Because you always talk when we eat ice cream, right?
No.
Why is your show so awesome?
That's a very good question.
Good question.
There's 2 words to answer the question.
Yeah.
Tatiana and Maslany.
It's ridiculous. I was commanded, you have to watch this program. You have to love it. And halfway through it, I was like, is the world not, this is the greatest show. I was completely floored, and I'm, nice and jaded with a lot of sci-fi, and I love seeing an original idea. And this idea just completely took me by surprise. And she is wonderful. So why didn't the Emmys give you any love?
Well, don't know. But, we're very happy just to be included in that conversation.
That's a nice way of putting it.
There was...
Well, but it's a new show, right? It's a new show, and we were just kind of floored by the response from fans and critics.
Yeah.
To in the last week or so, it's been really amazing.
I mean, with
the sort of groundswell support for the show has been incredible.
Oh yeah, and with Entertainment Weekly choosing it as one of the 4 covers for Comic-Con.
Pretty cool.
That was very cool.
Isn't that awesome?
It's our first time at Comic-Con, and there's a cover.
Yeah.
How fired up are we right now?
Yeah,
I can only imagine. So, where the hell did the idea come from?
We didn't set out to write a show about clones, strangely enough.
Had enough of the clone saga from Marvel?
Well, when we came up with the idea, it was started in 2003, and it started with just a scene of a girl seeing herself on a train platform commit suicide.
Yes.
Her twin or her doppelganger. We don't know. It was the idea, and I pitched that main idea to Graeme and said, "Hey, do you like this? This would be a really great opening scene, don't you think?" And then he was like, "So what is that? What is it? Like, who is it? Who is the person that killed himself?"
And you're like, no, I don't know that. It's just cool.
That's right. That's
how it
John's job.
started. That's how it started.
You love it. It's like divine inspiration. I was in the shower and I bumped my head and I had the whole thing. No, we thought this would look cool.
No, we didn't have the whole thing. We had one scene, and that led us to clones, strangely enough.
Wow. Now, when did you arrive at the clones? Like, how many iterations did you go through of sisters, weird doppelgangers, just coincidence?
It didn't take long to see that stuff exhausted itself, and we're huge genre fans. Love horror, love sci-fi, and so we alighted on clones, and sort of thought, clones have kind of got a bad rap. And
They do.
Yeah.
And when you say the word clone, it's a little bit, you kind of think it's a bit cheeseball.
And you make fun of that by calling it, we don't say the C word.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because we were like that. We were like, we got to call this something else. Like, we got to stop calling our show a clone show because people aren't going to take us seriously.
It's so good. How hard was it to cast Beth, Allison, Cosima? Like, I mean, how hard was it to find that actress?
It was a brutal process, and it was probably hardest on the actors who came down to the short list.
Wow.
Yeah.
But, Tat was a real front runner from the beginning. John had worked with Tat before.
Yeah, Tat was in a sequel to a movie that I made called Ginger Snaps. So I knew her when she was younger, like 10 years ago, and we had stayed in touch. So we all kind of knew Tat, and
our producers, Temple Street, had worked with her on a couple of different occasions.
Yeah, David and Ivan both had worked with her, and so we in that process which was a grueling process. And
what was it like for an actor? Like, what did you have them do?
Well, first of all, you have to have them read all the different characters, because a lot of the time you'll find an actor that you go, wow, she killed it as Sarah, but then you go, I just didn't buy her as a cop though. Like, I bought her British accent, but I didn't buy the police aspect of it. Or wow, I really liked Allison, but she just couldn't get the British accent right. So it was, so you would weed through people like that, and eventually, we landed on maybe 4 or 5 that we thought were pretty decent. I think we all thought Tat was still the best, but we wanted to see as many people as possible. And in the end, honestly, in that process, she annihilated everybody. Like, there was no
Doesn't it take something insane?
There was no decision to make.
Doesn't it take something bonkers like 17 hours to shoot a scene when all 3 or 4 of the clones are together?
Yeah, you know what? The more people you talk to, the bigger this number gets.
Isn't it
right?
100 hours per 5 minutes
it's
of
a
shooting?
week for 30 seconds.
Wow. When do you sleep?
I know.
No,
And
we
don't.
don't. We're clones.
What's going on?
Sleepless clones.
Sleepless Clones? Yeah, that's the new Tom Hanks flick. What's going to happen in season 2?
What?
Well,
Why would we tell you that?
I don't know.
one thing we can tell you is that Kira is missing. So
We knew that at the end of season 1.
We're not-
We also
we're not going to be like taking a year-long break and finding Sarah all sad, wondering where her daughter is. We're going to hit the ground running, and we're going to keep our crazy pace
Good.
and put Sarah through the ringer.
our show has always been our thing has been this wanting to continually pull the rug out from under the audience, make left turns when people expect you to make right turns.
You do that with the soundtrack. Like, that music is unnerving.
You like Sonny and Cher?
Yeah. Oh, I'm a huge fan of Sonny and Cher. I mean, all the way back to, when she did Half Breed,
Oh, yeah.
Gypsy. Like, I'm a huge fan. How did we get on that?
The restaurant scene?
Oh, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
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 But even like just the sound, the music, like there's like this screechy sound. I can't know how to describe
Oh,
it.
Helena's theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each of the clones kind of have their own little sound.
We have a really great composer, Trevor Yule, who is pulling some really great stuff. He went out and he
wonderful.
bought all these, like, to find the sound of the show, he bought the weirdest instruments he could find. The weirdest electric instruments. Like, there's this thing that's kind of a guitar, but it just has guitar strings that are hair that stick up, and you just kind of rub your hand on it, and it makes the weird Helena sound.
Yeah.
Wow. Is
wanted-
Helena
That's
dead?
a terrible description, but that's what happened.
Is Helena dead? She coming?
She looked pretty dead to me.
Okay.
She got
Don't
it
you
through the
think?
heart.
She
Yeah.
did. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how
She's
clones
kind of a
work.
bad smell, though.
Really?
Yeah. Kind of hard to get rid of. So, shot through the heart. I don't know.
Were you guys fans of the original Max Headroom live action series with Matt
Huge.
Frewer?
Huge.
Seriously, the post-apocalyptic one? You know,
Oh,
the one I'm talking about?
I do. I don't know that one as well as this.
That one, I was actually a fan of that, and when I saw Matt Frewer in the show, I was like, oh my God, these guys know what they're doing.
John had worked with Matt and was friends with Matt. So
I had worked
he
with him
wanted
a
Matt
bunch
from
of
the beginning.
times.
So great.
Yeah, Matt, and you know what? Matt's a really hilarious guy because the first time I worked with him, I was doing a DreamWorks series called Taken, which is a UFO alien abduction show. And Matt, my day one, I'm there with Matt on set, and Matt has a paper bag on his head. And I'm like a pretty young director. I'm like, this was a big show for me, and he's got this paper bag with a happy face on it, and had this whole gag running where he had everyone involved, and the producer was like, Matt's got the bag on this morning, so Matt, you're gonna have to just be nice to Matt. Eventually, he'll take the bag off. Just don't say anything about the bag. Just try to just ignore the fact that he's got a bag on his head. And it was just this big, silly, elaborate joke that he was playing on me. So
will he have a bag on his head at any point in season 2?
no, when he came to set, when I hired him and he came to set, I had the entire crew wearing paper bags on their head when he walked in the door,
Nice.
just to get him back. It was sweet, sweet revenge.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Continued success with the show. It is amazing.
Can I just pull one thing out of my butt?
Yes.
Look! It's the Orphan Black DVD release. If you have a killer home cinema, it looks great, it sounds great. It came out this week, the same week as Comic-Con. We're so fired up to be here.
Yeah.
That's
And,
really great. And
yeah.
your first con, this is a great way to celebrate it. Now, do they all come out of your ass, or can we find them in stores?
Every one of these comes out of my butt.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. We have the actors coming by tomorrow from Orphan Black, so we're going to tell them a whole bunch of lies you said here today, and it's
Good.
going to be glorious.
Excellent. Be mean to them.
Right now, you're going to see myself, Michael Rooker, and Norman